allow us to journey into these altered states.
It really whacked me psyche though, big time.
If you just sit reading books, it's the shadow because you're not going to be in your body.
Welcome to Creating Space, bringing people together. Real conversations with real people, telling stories and sharing our gifts right here in the heart of Liverpool, inspiring new ideas, education and co-creation.
Choose a challenge that lights you up and is going to make a difference in the world.
Creating Space.
Sponsored by the Scouse Guru app.
Okay, we're live. Welcome back. Creating Space. My name's Martin Bone. This is episode 13, and I've got a really wonderful interview today. It's a bit of a post-interview retreat. Post-retreat interview with some Scousers and a half Scouser in Craig White. And it was, this conversation really is all about, we come back to men's health. I've had Craig White on the platform twice before, and this is the third time. And, I've got such a high value in mental health and in men's health, and in holding space, and in being educated on all matters related to the human experience, and especially being a man myself, growing up in the world and what it means to be a really healthy, mature man, growing into something really special here in Liverpool. So we've just been back for about a week and a half, and one thing that we do on retreats, we actually check in, and the importance of checking in. This whole conversation really is talking about the importance of creating a safe space for men, to share, to express, to come together. And so what we do on retreat, we just have a little check-in. So we're just going to have a brief check-in, and then we're going to get straight in there. So my name's Martin Bone. I'm checking in with feelings of a little bit of nervousness. I'm checking in with excitement and gratitude for everyone being here. So I'm in.
Aho. Aho. My name's Craig. It's great to be here again. And I do feel incredibly safe with you guys. It feels like we're sat on retreat again here. So I'm checking in with safety, and safety brings for me a lot of relaxation, a lot of confidence, and I'm excited. So I'm checking in with that. I'm in.
Oh. My name's Anthony. I'm just feeling grounded, happy to see the lads. Yep, I'm in.
Oh.
I'm Jordan. I'm just checking in with a bit of nervousness because it's new to this type of stuff. Nice to be with the men again. I'm just really excited to share what we've learned and to pass that on to other men so they can experience the power of what we've just experienced. So I'm in.
I'm Kevin. I'm checking in with enjoyment to be around familiar faces. Happy that we've got a very, very healthy, safe container in with the group of people we're with today. We've experienced a lot, so with that I'm checking in with excitement to see everybody. Happy that we're in a safe container, and I'm in.
Aho. So this, even using that term aho, it comes from a Native American. And for anyone listening today, you may be thinking, what are they guys up to? And it just really means that, we're listening and we've heard that man. There's something really powerful in listening to other people's stories, and we know the power of holding space and checking in together and really being able to express ourselves in a very safe space, and really, start to go inside of ourselves and feel into our stories, go into, the parts of ourselves that we don't want to show the world, but also going into them parts of ourselves, that sort of gold that we may be afraid of as well. So it's just great to have you fellas here, do you know what I mean? We had an amazing retreat. It was over 5 days, and it's obviously called Men Without Masks. And this conversation isn't just really for the benefits of ourselves having a sort of post-retreat check-in, but really it's about anyone checking in today who is maybe struggling you know, with what's going on with their life. And, you know, we'll talk about purpose today. We'll talk about, you know, safe spaces being held, and the importance of this work, really. So we're just going to, let's go straight into Craig. So Craig, you know, this is the third time you've been on the platform. Welcome back. Thank you for being here. And yeah, how are you feeling then? So let's dive into how you're getting on, especially after the retreat we just had the last couple of weeks.
No, I'm feeling pumped actually. Due to the COVID restrictions, we had to cancel 3 retreats, and you know, for a while, I didn't think the retreats would happen again, and we managed to put on the retreat in September. And as you all know here, it was just an incredible, humbling experience, and just to see all of us, including me and Martin, who helped me, and Dave, who helped me as well, just to see the 14 of us from start to finish is just an incredible and humbling experience, and just made me believe in the power of this work again, and got me incredibly excited. And now I have a real strong vision for this work in the future, in how it could grow, and how we could get it out to more men, and how we could create some bigger retreats, and and how we can spread the power of this work. So I'm checking in with a lot of excitement, responsibility, but also a lot of excitement.
Yeah, I think this was equally special for me, this retreat. You know, we've been holding space for men since 2017, haven't we? And we've done probably around a dozen retreats now. But for me, this was extra special because there's 3 men in the room here that are all from Liverpool. You know, and I remember diving into this work many years ago and really just almost praying for this to happen, you know, from men with, you know, from Liverpool, diving into this work because I know it works. And then there was an extra special experience for me because I had my brother on retreat, and it was amazing to see him going on a journey. And then a dear friend of mine, and Kevin, who we've known each other for a very long time, and we've been doing some personal work, haven't we, over the last 10 months. And I know the retreat then for you was something which almost just glued everything together and give you a lot more. I suppose it gave a lot more clarity that, you know, the work that we've been diving into.
Yeah, it gave me complete clarity coming out of retreat. During retreat, at times, you know, it's a little bewildering as to what will be next, but all of which is memorable and special. And I think no matter what group of guys you're with, you create a bond. But fortunately for us, we had a fantastic group of guys and we created a very special bond. Yeah. So that bond enabled us to not only talk openly, freely, and share some of our childhood, teenage and adolescent years, woes, victories, defeats, and anything else that come out. And you were in a completely safe environment to talk about these, but also deal with them and put them either behind or come away from retreat and make sure you attend to them and nurture your family and your people within your close circle, so that they also understand that you've actually either forgive or you've moved on, or that's not important to you any longer. So there's an awful lot that come from retreat, which, as you say, it put the tapestry together for us maybe, and enabled us to, it's enabled me, should I say, to basically see life in a totally different outlook.
I think what was great is like, you know, the 2 probably big aspects was the direct experience. You know what I mean? You had direct experience, but what you've just been talking about there is being educated. You know, you were very much educated, you know, using the map of the archetypes, which, you know, we'd sort of tapped into before retreat, but I left it quite open, didn't I? You know, we've more been like working on your self-development over the last 10 months, but then going into retreat and then, you know, having that map, that internal map where we can take a good look at the archetypes and then relate our own processes from life into that simple map, to give you an understanding maybe on how you've been behaving or now how to behave. And obviously there was a lot of direct experience with the yoga, with the meditation, with the shares that we had, and many other of the other, you know, experiences, you know, on a daily basis, which was anchoring that particular energy. And And yeah, you know, you come back and it's like, wow, okay, I've got a clear map here of where I'm going and what's going on.
Yeah, to understand your own psyche is so powerful. It's untrue. And you go through life, your days, not understanding why you make the decisions, but you make them. And you don't actually analyse why you make those decisions, but they're inbuilt and enrooted into your system. And you'll regret some of the decisions you make, but you're within your own right to stop them happening beforehand. And understanding your psyche is part of that. So the retreat enables you to do that, all of which was a surprise for myself. Like, true to your word, you kept it completely secretive to me. So I come on to retreat knowing nothing like anybody else and come out with, you know, a basket full of knowledge. So yeah, I was really enjoyed it and would recommend it to any man, however grounded, sound and of perfect mind you believe you may well be. Believe me, you're not.
Yeah.
You know, there's work to be done.
There's work to be done. And even in past retreats, you know, this isn't just for men who are necessarily broken. You know, it's for men who, you know, we've had a lot of high-flying men on retreats, haven't we? From all different men, from all walks of life, all different ages. And it's really an opportunity to, you know, come into a safe container, isn't it, mate? You know, and really, you know, feel into that psychological safety, which is a big part of the retreat, isn't it?
Yeah. It's important at this stage just to say something about safety, especially where men is concerned. So in a lot of the men's work that I've been involved in, and also the men's work that we facilitate as well, it's just evident that when men eventually feel safe amongst a group, they relax, they let down the boundaries, the defences come down, and we're able to fully express. And that's not always the dark stuff, you know. Some men might have to get stuff off the chest in relation to darkness or things they haven't told anybody before and shame. But there's other men that it becomes more about just feeling into the gifts and the talents that have been suppressed and owning that and learning to speak openly about the greatness and the vision and becoming confident. So it's not all dark. And to see men fully express on all those levels is incredibly, incredibly empowering for the man and all the other men in the group. But they have to feel safe. And there's various reasons in society why men don't feel safe. It could be based on the society that they've been raised in, the culture that they've been raised in, the stereotypes around men don't fully express and men have to stay stoic and men don't express feelings and so on, and all the usual stereotypes. It might also have come from the family environment that they were raised in, where every time as a child they wanted to express, it may have been that mum and dad were too tired, or mum and dad were angry and mum and dad told us to be quiet, and over a time the deep subconscious psyche of the child just checks out. It just says, you know what, I'll just keep quiet. And so there's a lot of reasons why we may not feel safe growing up in order to fully express. But there's this innate, deep part of us that actually wants to express and wants to be seen and wants to be heard and wants to be valued and wants to be fully accepted. And so the core of the retreat, really, apart from all the bells and whistles, the core of the retreat is to slowly and sensitively and sensibly just create a safe container and build on it each day. And that's when we see the magic. Yeah. That's when we see guys that have been carrying a burden for years say it and feel the space behind it. That's when we see guys that know that they're incredible as men and know they're incredible fathers, but haven't really fully admitted it and stepped into it. And that's when the magic happens. But feeling safe, whether that's in a retreat, in a circle, with a mate, in the pub, with your own group, however that feels, is incredibly important. And there's certain rules, as you know, we stick to in the retreat that help us to cultivate that safe container. Yeah,
I think growing up as men, you know, there's one thing is that there's a mantra that, like, boys don't cry. Do you know what I mean? And then we keep that inside of ourselves for a very, very long time. And, you know, and the capacity to release and express ourselves through tears is incredibly powerful. And, you know, after building this container, even after pretty much the first night, you know, before we really dive into that lover's energy on day one, we built a safe container, didn't we? And we could feel it. And then as soon as we went into that first day, you know, through that safety, through that confidence, you know, the tears started to come out, didn't they? You know what I mean? And it was like, you know, and then you almost just feel empty. You've emptied out years and years and years of stuff, you know, which was powerful. And so once, you know, I know it was a massive retreat for you. It was on your radar for a while, wasn't it?
Yeah, it popped up a couple of times, but I was wary. You know, I was on my journey of self-development, and I knew it was going to benefit me. I just didn't feel ready. So I went with an open mind, and obviously with my mask on. I went in there and I didn't know what to expect, and it literally blew my mind. The safety in that room after 1 hour, after 1 hour of just speaking to the lads, the guard was just dropped.
Yeah.
The shoulders were dropped. We were just relaxed. We were speaking. You know, we spoke about things what we've all never spoke to people about in our lives, and this is after a couple of hours of being introduced. You know what I mean? I mean, I've carried things from 10 years of age, which I've never told a soul. And just to speak about it, mate, was just, I couldn't stop once I started. I couldn't stop. I literally couldn't stop, and it was just flowing and flowing. And the more I talked, the better I felt.
Yeah.
And the crying, wow. I think I cried about 10 rivers, mate. Honest to God. I think we all did, didn't we?
Yeah.
Oh, what I mean?
Mate, you laughed a lot as well.
All we done was laugh.
Yeah,
as well as the odds.
Yeah.
It was a powerful week. And I mean, like, I've been in search, I'd say, since I was about 18, I've been searching for what I got off that retreat.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, this is where I've wanted to be since I was 18.
Sense of belonging, sense of authenticity.
Yeah, even down to the initiation.
Yeah.
So many little things you don't realise about yourself. You sit there for these 5 days and you just work everything out in 5 days.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, wow. And I mean, I've come home and I'm just on another level.
Yeah.
I'm literally on another level.
Yeah.
I'm organised, I'm focused. I know myself.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've got lads who I've met, knew them 2 weeks. You know, we speak every day.
Yeah, friends for life,
family.
They're
not friends, they're family.
Yeah.
And we're so close, we're so open, and we can speak whenever we want.
Yeah.
And I can speak to them before I can speak to people I've known for 20 years.
Yeah.
And that's the powerful thing about the retreat.
Yeah.
You know, as we went back to the safety, being safe to speak, because we should never hold it in. I've done it all my life.
Yeah.
And I've persecuted myself with it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You just speak about it and don't hold it in.
Yeah, and it's only maybe being like in the boozers really, hasn't it? You know, once you've had a couple of ales and maybe whatever else that comes with that is like, you feel like, I can, you know, you feel a little bit more relaxed. It loosens you up to, you know, to speak about your stuff. But sometimes, you know, having you know, friends that you've grown up with for a period of time, you might feel like there's an element of being judged, or you feel like that confidentiality will leak to other people in the group. So, you know, building that container between us.
There's a lot of shame.
Yeah, you know, I'm literally, what happens in Whaley Hall stays in Whaley Hall, do you know what I mean? And that then gives us that opportunity to, when we walk away after them 5 days, I remember saying to Kev, you know, because he was like, what am I in for here? And I was just like, listen, do you trust me? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, that's all you need to know. Do you know what I mean? But I said to Kev, I said it'll be like, you know, you'll shed skin and actually step into like a new space suit. Do you know what I mean? There's like a lot of upgrading that goes on, and as you said, a lot of clarity, a lot of direction. But you know, using the map of the archetypes, which is, it's almost foolproof, isn't it? You know what I mean? It was dead simple. We divided up into 4 days, and then all the exercises and stuff we explored within that realm was just perfect for you to integrate.
Yeah, it's just literally putting a jigsaw together in 5 days, and when you look at it and it's finished, the realization's there. It's like, so this is where I've been going wrong, or this is what I should have done, or that's what I should have done. And it's like, it's life changing, and every man, no matter who you are, should try this retreat once, because I know I'm going to do it again. And I know I'm going to do it again.
And we've had men who come back, do you know what I mean? You know, like 18 months down the line, you know, got a lot from the first retreat, and then just checking back in with themselves, you know what I mean? You know, we sit here all together as men here, and, you know, we all have a high value in our own self-betterment, do you know what I mean? Like personal improvements and transformation. And so when we come back on retreat, like, it's great for Craig and I, we get to do it 3 or 4 times a year, and the expansion from my own experience has been massive. Do you know what I mean? But you get guys who come back and then they level up again. Do you know what I mean? And maybe, you know, the stuff that they mightn't have released on the first retreat, they get it out on the second. You know what I mean? So, you know, it's been really powerful. So, Geordie, you know, coming back, we've been back nearly 2 weeks now, and how are you feeling? Like, you know, what's going on for you?
Do you know what? It was again, like everyone else, didn't really know what to expect, but I just put my trust in yourself because I knew there was something in it for me. You know what I mean? Because, you know, growing up, I've worn a mask. Do you know what I mean? Not so much to fit in with people, but you feel like you've got to have that armour on, and do you know what I mean? That just like the conditions of, especially where I grew up and how I grew up, it's not the norm, is it? You know what I mean? To open up in a way like that. So, you know, I've went in there, you know, with me mask on and me armour on, but that soon got knocked down, you know what I mean? That was down with it, like we said in the first day. And I think I was listening to something on the way here then, and it was saying like, this is just my belief, but it was like, don't let school get in the way of your education. You know what I mean? And I just thought of being there and thought, well, yeah, because I've as a man, you know, I'll take more out of that than any school. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying school's a bad thing, but there needs to be more of this. People need to see this type of work's going on. You know what I mean? And it's so helpful. It's so helpful for men, and it's needed. It needs to be. It needs to just be out there and people, because men are so stoic, as you say. You know, with just in that, you know, going through energies and stuff, and Warrior Day, we just live as a warrior. Yeah, especially in Liverpool, innit? Especially in Liverpool, we've got like that inflated warrior energy, do you know what I mean? Which can serve us well, you know, but when you understand that map, you know, and then have the direct experience, and then feel open and safe to explore it, that's where, you know, as Anthony was saying, you know, it's like a jigsaw. The pieces start to come together, don't they? And then you notice how maybe important the lover is to the warrior, you know, and then, you know, and how important is the magician is, you know, to all the archetypes and vice versa. And then inevitably, you know, there's a king within us all, isn't there? Do you know what I mean? And having that, you know, capacity to understand, what does it mean to be a king in the world? You know, what does it mean to step up and to, you know, to hold the space and to become a father, not necessarily a father to a child, but to have that fathering energy, to grow up, basically, do you know what I mean? You know, to step into that manhood. Unfortunately, there's a lot of men out there who look like men, but they're still navigating life from, you know, the psyche of a child. Do you know what I mean? And, you know, there's a lack of like healthy initiation, you know, especially in the West. You know, I can remember maybe my first initiation, you know, was like, you know, something like, you know, when was the first time you kissed a girl, or when was the first time you popped a cherry or something like that, or when was the first time you took your first pill in a club. That was all like initiative. That's how it is, you know, especially being in Liverpool, you know what I mean? But as you said, there's a lot of like, I mean, this is a tough city. Do you know what I mean? And you know, growing up on the streets, you know, we're all a very similar age. So growing up, you know, there's a sense of like warrior energy, wasn't there? You know what I mean? But I think as men, we seek that initiation early on. That's why we get into dangerous things. You know what I mean? You know, there's a sense where the psyche wants to initiate itself. So we seek danger. So whether that's fighting, you know, no wonder the you know, the crime rates, a lot of, every 6 arrests, 5 are men. Do you know what I mean? And they just seek danger. It's their initiation, like seeking a sense of danger. And, you know,
I think that's because, you know, going into like the hunter from when we were, you know, we was like, and this resonated with me like massive when we went over that. Like when we're hunters, we're meant to be out there. So and now we're all this urbanised and all that. Now that is our way. That is our hunting, innit? It's going out and finding danger because we're trapped.
And finding initiation as well.
Yeah, definitely.
All the kids now are just out there searching for initiation.
Yeah, and they're getting initiated by the wrong sorts of people.
Yeah, definitely.
But they don't know any different. That's what that's what they're led to think's the right. Well, maybe not the right thing to do, but that's all they've got around them. And because it's naturally in them to want to go and find them, like hunting or so, then that's all he can do.
Yeah,
that's it.
And there's a lot of disappearing fathers, isn't there, nowadays? You know what I mean? You know, a lot of boys are raised by women, broken homes. So these younger, you know, that's why there's still a lot of gang culture, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? You know, still a lot of kids, you know, coming together, getting in gangs because that's their family. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And then unfortunately, they haven't really got an elder who is of a nature of maturity. Yeah, do you know what I mean? You know, when I know bringing Craig back into the conversation is like a lot of young men or young boys, they're just starving for blessing, Craig, aren't they?
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting what you say about initiation. There is something deep within our psyche that strives for initiation, and usually, according to ancient tribal systems, some of them are still around, but according to initiation that used to occur within tribes, we have to face some kind of psychological ordeal. There has to be a level of fear associated with it, and if you like, intentional suffering. There has to be elders around, and it has to be in some kind of ceremonial space. And if those kind of three parts exist, then it's a healthy initiation. And you know, in tribal times, a teenage boy, for example, could have been snatched away from the clutches of mom, taken with the granddads and the elders, and taught the ways of man, which could in some cases involve pain and suffering. But then he's initiated as a man. He has this deep sense that he's moved into manhood, and then he's introduced back into society. That's just one example of initiation, but it existed for thousands and thousands of years in tribal times.
Yeah.
Before that, even hunting itself was an initiation, but it's always existed until now, really, until the last, if you like, few hundred years, or moving on from the Industrial Revolution. And but yet there's that innate part of our psyche that searches for some kind of danger and suffering, searches for some kind of ceremony, football hooliganism, you know, event ceremony, and also searches for elders. I remember when I was a kid, and I used to believe I was a football hooliganism. I'd go with the guys at Wigan Athletic. I thought I was with elders because there was like 40-odd-year-old guys there. I was in my teens. There was danger, and it was ceremonial. Yeah. That's just me looking for initiation. But it's, you know, what can I look for when nothing sacred or safe and authentic is provided? So the retreat that we do is a chance to initiate in a safe space.
I think that's how you get into the gang life then, early doors. Because I remember one day when I was younger, we moved out, we moved to a new area, and my mum was taking me to like the local sports centre to do karate, and there was like a waiting list, and then there was all lads outside, and I looked at them, I was only young, and I was like, I remember saying to myself, like, Mum, I'll never do that, I'll never be there. 6 months later, I was there. So I mustn't have been getting that initiation from anywhere else. And I'll never forget, it sticks with me now to this day. I think back, like 6 months I was there standing outside the shop. Not even really knowing I was better than that. You know, I always knew I was a lot more, I had a lot of respect, but it was just what it was at the area I lived in. So I didn't really, so I don't think I ever really wanted to be there, but it just fell into that life. And you know,
I was the same, because like obviously my dad was in jail most of my childhood until I was about 17. So there was literally no initiation for me. I think like my uncle, I was close with my uncle. He was like my father figure, you know what I mean? So, but then obviously down the wrong road then, out up to no good, and that's just down to the initiation at an early age and having that sacred, you know, father figure there to guide you, you know what I mean, and point you in the right direction. And like the kids now, they should be made to do this retreat at the age of 17, no matter what part of life they're in, you know, no matter where they come from, good or bad homes, this retreat will just be an eye-opener for them.
If there's more men like us though doing this thing, getting it out there, then our kids will know all this. Our kids will get healthy initiations. Our kids will get the love that they need and that they strive for. And because we weren't, like our parents, you know, nothing against my parents, but I think just like as a collective society, I don't think our parents stem from their parents and their parents.
Yeah.
So it's just like,
well, it just goes back to
spiraled.
the quote, doesn't it, where you say, like, don't try and give your kids what you never had. Teach your kids what you were never taught.
Yeah.
Because I was never taught from my dad, you know what I mean? And I've got nothing against him because he's the perfect man he is now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But, like, the kids are just not getting taught by anyone.
Yeah.
And going to school, all right, they're learning, they're getting that little bit of, I'll just say, academic life into them, but they need to be taught properly by parents together, do you know what I mean? And they're just not getting it.
It's a sense of values, isn't it?
Yeah, I think what the retreat does, it underpins your academic education. So you have an academic education, but what the retreat does is gives you something that an academic education will never give you.
Yeah.
And it allows you to be able to fulfill any academic desires in a healthy, manageable way.
Of course.
Whereas, as we've all just said, we all come from Liverpool and we sort of just were thrown into life a little bit. There was nobody guiding us saying, right, this is right, this is wrong, and you kind of learn a lot of that for yourself, similar to what you said, John. You're walking around the streets and you kind of find your way, or whatever may fall out from that. And sometimes you're lucky if you don't get in trouble.
Yeah.
Because you can be, once you're in a gang, you know, it's easy for you to, like, you know, from a petty sort of offence to smashing a window to getting in fights, you know, and nowadays, you know, stabbing and, you know, shooting and things like that, which take it that little step further. And I think it'd be safe to say that everybody's been in that environment and are fortunate in some capacity to have not fell into it too deeply. And it's about breaking that mould now for the younger generations so that they don't carry on what is now this violent curve and this gang curve and this culture of this is the way to be initiated. And it's dividing, you know, local people, whereas local people should be clubbing together and helping one another as opposed to being divided by your mind. So with having the retreat, it really does support that understanding of why you do it and why not to do it.
Definitely.
It also gives us an opportunity in retreats of very much like, as you said, it goes beyond the mind. You know, we very much do a lot of stuff that got us in the body, didn't it?
Of course.
You know what I mean? We got right into the body. You know, like obviously with some, you know, many of the exercises we're doing, again, the yoga, the initiation, the breath work, you know, the meditation, you know, we were getting out of that faculty. We were very much like getting out of our way, weren't we? And then providing that safe space for vulnerability. You know, vulnerability is seen as a weakness in the West, isn't it? You know what I mean? And, you know, and that's, we put them masks on because there's a fear of showing ourselves or, you know, being a little bit sensual, being a little bit romantic. And there's almost a fear of it not being reciprocated, so there's just this like stoic nature. But getting in the body in retreat is a massive part of the retreat because we get out of the head, we get out of the suspicious mind, we get out of our mental constructs, we get out of you know, our belief systems and just create space for authentic connection. And it's firstly with yourselves, and then it's, you know, with your own experience, and then it's secondly with the men in the room. And all of a sudden, there's just this tightness. It just gets tighter and tighter and tighter every day. And then by the time we get to King Day, last day, it's like, wow, I feel like I've known these men.
You do, yeah. You feel like you've been on that retreat
all my life, and it's just 5 days, isn't it? You know what I mean?
And it's a good 5 days, mate.
It's a good
it really
5
is.
days.
It's, you know, it's enjoyable.
Yeah.
It's very enjoyable.
We have fun as well, don't we? You know
There's
what I
a
mean?
lot of fun. It's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough because some people, you need to find yourself.
Yeah.
And some people don't want to do that.
Yeah.
So when you do find yourself, it's, you know, some people can be scared from the real them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I know I was.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I know I was.
Can I ask you guys, what was it about the retreat that deepened your feeling of safety? Like, what was it that we did or we didn't do? Or, you know, when did you feel yourself getting deeper and feeling like more trust? Like, what was it?
Honesty. One word, honesty. And from the very start, yourself, Craig, Martin and Dave were completely honest. And you know when somebody's being honest, you'd have, you know, a bit of a detector inside yourself. So you know immediately that there was honesty from the start. So honesty breeds honesty. Like breeds like. So from your level of honesty and your level of vulnerability, grows a level of honesty and vulnerability within the room.
Yeah.
I think that would...
Well, for me, it was the Lover Day.
Yeah.
I won't say too much about the retreat, but yourself as a facilitator, but wow, Mike, you played a massive part in everybody, not just as a facilitator, your part, you know what I mean? The day of the Lover, when we stood and we looked at each other, was when I really, that was it for me. I was just, the guard was gone.
Yeah.
It was time to just let everything go, open up, be honest.
Yeah.
And stop carrying it. Stuff just dropped the weight.
That eye gazing's powerful, isn't it? You know what I mean? You know, we're like a mirror, holding space for one another, and just being present with somebody, gazing into the eyes. You know, it's wow.
That's when I really realised. Yeah. Because yourself, I thought you were just going to be in the background doing. You were in it, man. You were feeling what we were feeling. You were doing what we were doing. Yeah. So for me, that was the Lover, the first day. That's when it really got me going.
I'm so grateful for this work, you know what I mean? Because again, I come across this work in 2016, and it's, I can honestly say I feel like a man. Do you know what I mean? I feel like someone who's causing a good effect in the world. Do you know what I mean? I feel like I'm doing some looking after my own welfare, and then naturally looking after the welfare of others. You know what I mean? And stepping up and doing what's right. Do you know what I mean? And being neutral and fathering the world, and there's just levels of compassion that comes with that, and levels of presence. You know, I think that's a big thing in the retreats, is we all really anchor a level of presence. You know what I mean? We compassionately listen to each other, don't we? You know, we want to listen to each other, and equally being heard is something very powerful. Like, so
of course,
know. I think even just now, how present I am now in this room, it's all thanks to that. It's thanks to the retreat. Like, I can honestly say, I've never looked at my family in the way I did when I come home. Yeah. Ever. I seen something new in every one of them. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I was like, oh my, like I couldn't believe it. And I think you know, everyone's was in there for a reason. So I think going in, you know, everyone's got a sense of vulnerability to even be there in the first place. Whether or not, you know, you're puffing your chest up as you go in, or deep down, you know, you're vulnerable.
Yeah, you're vulnerable. Yeah.
And you want it, aren't you? Do you know what I mean? I know you're a dad, aren't you? And you've got
two
kids, haven't you?
Yeah. 3 boys.
And coming home, you know, how's it been integrating, like?
Again, so I think, you know, the integration it's really hard to put words on it. You know what I mean? Because people don't leave the family the way we have, and they don't dive into themselves the way we did on retreat. You know, having no phone, you know, it was just in itself, without anything else, was so powerful. Do you know what I mean? So, but with that, I didn't miss having no phone at all. I didn't even realise. I didn't know what day it was. Didn't know what time it was. I was just there in the moment, in the present moment, present with every man in that room. And like I said, I could have probably stayed there for days, because I was enjoying every minute of it, and I was breaking down barriers in my life, and to be able to, you know, we're all on a mission and a personal development and stuff, and we all have our own little, you know, ways and views on things. But to see it in that format, you know, with the Lover, the Magician, the King, and the Warrior, you know, you get a real sense of who you are as a man. When you're going through it, and each day you're going through it, you have a bigger understanding of who you are, which was just, I could never have imagined to get that. And I don't think if you'd been at home and you were doing it with your kids there and all that, and you had your mobile phone, you'd never be able to dive in so deep. I think there's so
you'd
much.
never get the full benefit from it, would you? Never.
Because we get a digital
being
detox,
present,
don't we? You know what I mean?
Like probably the main, you know, the security of speaking in that room and being present. You know, even learning about the things of, like, when people are speaking, just sit and listen to them, let them finish. You know, give them a chance to express how they are, and that was a big thing for me there.
Because we interject a lot, don't we? You know, we jump in, and
I'm terrible. For it. Just done it.
You've both mentioned the word presence, and it's a really important word in relation to the retreat. People talk about it; it's a buzzword, but you can't describe it with words. You can't go into a dictionary and or what is presence? It's just
Yeah.
indescribable.
Yeah.
So, but you can only feel it.
Yeah.
And we all felt it in the retreat. And to be honest, we do a lot of in the retreat, but it's all geared towards cultivating more presence, from connecting with nature to checking in with each other's posture, to looking at each other and not breaking the gaze, you know, to talking with each other, to breathing with each other, to holding our arms up together for 10 minutes, you know, whatever it is. It's all cultivated towards
7 minutes.
being, being present ourselves, but being present with each other.
Yeah.
It's such an important.
That was a
part
very,
of the
very,
retreat.
a very big thing for me, the presence. As you said about the phones and that. Now, like last weekend, I turned my phone off Friday night and put it back on the Sunday.
Yeah.
And unbelievable.
Yeah, it's powerful.
The
isn't it?
kids, you know, usually I'm sat there, the kids are shouting me 10 times, and I'm looking at my phone.
It's where a lot of relationships break down, I think. Do you know what I mean? I think, you know, it's funny when you meet somebody new, or, you know, you can take yourself back to when you know, maybe first met your partner, and there's almost for them first few months, even in that honeymoon period, there's a lot of presence with one another, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that's why I feel like you fall in love with someone, because actually there's just two people letting the guard down, telling the story, and falling in love. And that's, you know, you're falling in love, aren't you? You know what I mean? And then, you know, after a few months, you know, you start maybe checking on the phone, and that level of attention starts to fizzle away. And then all of a sudden, you know, relationship, that's it, they break down, don't they? You know what I mean? But talking about the phone one, that was funny, because, you know, we all remember Kev, like, you know, on day one. It was something that, like, you know, me, knowing Kevin, knowing how busy he is, you know, very professional businessman here in Liverpool, and actually how important his phone is to him, you know, connecting to other people and being present, you know, with all of his endeavours. But it was something that I know that he was going to have a struggle with for 5 days, and he was like literally like that last call, he was like that one, you know.
Phone you later, I'll phone you later.
He went from like the lover day to pure itching to the last day, like, I didn't want my phone. I want to put it on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
20 minutes delay to start for Kev outside.
Yeah, went missing for a little bit. We've got a couple of last minute calls.
Now, what's that digital detox for you, Kev?
The digital detox was it was phenomenal. Now, you find ways and means. It was difficult, and it might sound silly, but each night when I went to bed, I looked out the window and said goodnight to the kids. Now, you can't speak to them when you're on retreat, so it's really difficult. But I think you get a sense of fulfillment that you've actually said goodnight to your kids, despite not saying goodnight to them in a personable way. But not having the phone, I think an element is you don't really, during retreat, have that much time to miss your phone. During your breaks, okay, there's that little element of, oh, wonder if whose phone, who's been in touch, and that aspect of things. But when you submerge yourself into the retreat, the digital detox serves you so well, because if you were to be laptop, phone, all the rest of it, as soon as you come out, you can't digest what you've just taken in. So you take an awful lot in, like, let's call it in the classroom environment, so to speak, when we're sat around discussing matters and learning. You don't really have time to take it all back in. So when you come away, you have time to talk to the other people who've been present within the room with you, and share that experience, and sort of get their understanding of certain bits that maybe you might not have took on in a certain way. So as a collective, you get a full understanding. So that detox away from the phone, the laptop, whatever else, enables you to get fulfillment from what you're doing. So it's so important.
Very important.
I'm probably sat in this room now, I'm attached to my phone. It's like my right arm. I'm so attached to that phone, it's untrue. But I'm the biggest advocate now to say, like, that's the most meaningful part of the retreat is not to have contact with anybody or anything or anything digital. You just do not need it in life.
Because it allows you to be present.
That's it.
That's all. It just allows you to be there.
It's ironic, really, isn't it? Because we're disconnecting with our phone over the 5 days, but we reconnect with ourselves and nature like never before. You mentioned looking into the eyes of your kids for the first time when you got home.
That was honest, like, I seen someone different, and it was amazing. It was amazing, and it put it all into perspective and to why I've done it, to why I was there in the first place, and how we get people to get involved in this. And then I was thinking, how can I even try to explain this to people? Because they're not present. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If I'm going to try and explain this to someone who's thinking about the phone, they're just going to like...
Yeah.
That's really important what you say there, because you can't explain it, you can only feel it.
Exactly.
There was one man who came on a retreat, Matt Johnson, a couple of retreats back, and he said, I kind of known a lot of what you're spoken about, but until now, I've never felt it. I feel it. Like when my girlfriend says to me, you need to feel more, I feel what she means now.
Yeah.
You know, there's a feeling, there's an embodiment. So that's why we do a lot of embodiment practices on the retreat, because we learn how to feel more. We wake up our gut brain, we wake up our heart brain, and we just learn how to feel more holistically and with our whole being, not just our mental.
I think what's so really important as well is you know, when we're talking about retreat, you know, this specific retreat that we hold, there's a group energy. Do you know what I mean? So it's like a group therapy. Do you know what I mean? And you know, through the exercises we do, you know, and having that container, which is a group dynamic, gives us all an opportunity to learn from each other, to be a mirror for one another, and to really pick up on our own triggers, you know, from another man. Like, you know, it's very much group therapy, isn't it? You know, compared to maybe the alternative one-to-one therapy, counselling type sessions. You know, where you're sitting maybe across somebody and talking your way through things. And I believe that's still incredibly powerful, because you know, we've got friends who've explored that work for many years, and I've got so much out of it. But talking from my own experience, you know, having dived into the retreats and the work that I do here in Liverpool, it's all group therapy.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You know, sitting in circles, getting, you know, and that symbology of the circle, getting on the, you know, in that dynamic, and feeling into that energy. It's powerful, mate, isn't it?
And it's a reflection of what's missing in society.
Yeah.
I mean, I myself, early on in my 30s, to try and work things out, I had therapy, and it was helpful. And there's some incredibly skilled therapists, and I don't consider myself a therapist at all. And there's a space for that to kind of really unlock something and cultivate some understanding. Yet there's something incredibly powerful for men about being safe with other men, expressing with other men around, being fully seen without being interrupted, being heard without interrupted. And that is magic that you don't always get in a one-to-one therapy room. It's just absolute magic. And because, let's be honest, most of us, without blaming, because who do you blame? But most of us haven't really had that authentic, emotionally mature father figure. Many of us guys that come on retreat didn't really have a father that was around at all, but we can learn what it means to be a man from the 13 other men, and we can get a little bit of wisdom from those 13 other men that we didn't maybe get from our father. So it's just incredibly
little snippets of everyone was enough.
Everyone's a teacher in the room.
We get blessed. What's missing today from early fatherhood, for whatever reasons, is authentic blessing. But we can get that even at our age right now. You saw how powerful it was on the King Day. Blessing each other with our voice, with our hands, with our eyes, with our recognition, with our laughter. It's like, whoa. And all of a sudden, we feel good enough. Because we've been blessed by further energy. Might not have been our dad, but we've been blessed by further energy. It's fucking powerful.
Well, that refers back to when you say about men as we are. You know, proud men. When someone gives you a compliment, you shrug it off. In that room on the last day, to get a compliment from somebody who means it from the bottom of the heart, and it's the truth, you take it in and you swallow it up, and it's powerful.
And that's blessing.
It's a blessing, of course.
And it's
a
authentic.
blessing. And authentic, And
I think as well, you know, it's sacred. You know, I think sacredness, especially in the West, like you'd say, you know, get on the streets in Liverpool and you say the word sacred, and it's like, what?
Looked at like you've
You
got
reading the
ten
Bible or
Oh, yeah,
something?
the
What's up
Bible.
with you?
Yeah, you know what I
Bible
mean?
down, will you?
Yeah.
You know, and I had a great conversation last week on the platform with a guy called Kev Deves, and he's called, you know, known as the Mind Shaman. And when you do this work, and when you have that direct experience, you know, there's you change, don't you? You know what I mean? You know, you can't deny, you know, the feeling, and the initiation and the mindset and the psychology that you've moved into, and you've changed. And some people are going to celebrate it, but you know, unfortunately, there are going to be people, especially even from Liverpool, who are going to judge you. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, you're going to get judged, and then you're the fool. Then, do you know what I mean? Because you know, you've actually taken charge of your life. You know, there's a level of empowerment, as you said. There's a willing to improve, Jord, isn't it? And you know, you've followed that space, and no doubt you've been paid, haven't you? You know what I mean? You feel the rewards from it, and this is just due to the work. I call it the work. You're just doing work on you,
yourself.
aren't you? You know what I mean? I think it's trendy nowadays, you know, it is becoming a little bit more of the norm, isn't it? To actually, you know, okay, well, to do a bit of work, but it's, you know, self-care and mindfulness, and, you know, it's probably a little bit more of a buzzword in society nowadays. And so, you know, but it's brought us to a place where, you know, a lot of people are on the floor. It takes a crisis sometimes before people want to do something about their life. Do you know what I mean? You know,
which happened with me.
Yeah.
4 years ago, you know, I got shot.
Yeah.
And at that time, I was running around up to all kinds.
Yeah.
That was the beginning of my journey. That was me realisation.
That was it.
It's time to change. It's time to start.
Yeah.
And when you said about the self-development and working on yourself, it's not just physical. Because as you know, I train every day.
Yeah.
You've got to train your mind as well, and
your spirit.
And your spirit, and look after your inside and your thoughts.
Yeah.
It's all good and well, go to the gym every day. If you're broken inside, you've got to fix it.
Yeah.
And I learned that. That was a big learning point for me on the retreat. Yeah.
Do you know, it's one of the reasons, well, to be honest, all of us in this room actually, why we do the retreats.
Of course, yeah.
There's such a presence in all of us here, right?
Yeah.
Of warrior energy. We've had to fucking cultivate it to protect ourselves. But I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but there's a softness in the room at the same time. You know what I mean?
Sacredness, isn't it? Yeah.
There's a softness coming through all of us, and I hope the camera can see that.
Yeah. It's even just making the eye contact.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? When you speak with people, you're never looking.
Yeah.
We make eye contact.
Yeah.
You know, we acknowledge each other.
I was speaking to someone the other day, and he said, why do you keep looking at me like that? And I was like, I'm just listening to you, I'm just present.
Yeah.
Are you all right?
Yeah.
I was like, I'm sound, how are you? You know what I mean?
Are you all right? Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of people can't handle that.
No, they can't, no.
Like, I've noticed now, I have a conversation with someone and he will be like,
Yeah.
is he looking at me like that?
Yeah. And I know you're coming back to Liverpool, George. You're a personal trainer, aren't you? So after the retreat, and I know you've been doing a little bit of work with the meditation as well, alongside what you've done with the retreat. You know, what sort of next for you? You know, unfolding, moving forward. You feel like, you know, there's a greater vision. There's a bit more direction. Because by the sounds of it, you were already right on an amazing path. But you know, how are things unfolding for you now?
I want to spread this type of work to myself. I think I think that's just natural. Like, I'm talking about feelings. I think this is just natural. I want to spread this work for people to know, because people don't know what this is even out there. Like you say, even saying a word like sacred, they go, what? The defense comes up. I want to break barriers for people to loosen up.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? And take this in, because as we all know, there's a lot of people dying. There's a lot of suicides going on and stuff. And you know, you're talking about values. Like, most people who listen to this won't even know what they are.
Yeah, I don't know.
Do you know what I mean? Someone their values, they go, what do you mean by that?
Yeah.
What are my values? So I think, you know, physical and mental fitness for me is my biggest value in life. I love my kids, I love business, I love all that. But without my mental and physical fitness, none of that will work. You know what I mean?
And what brings that is like almost like a spiritual well-being, isn't it? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, you know, what you're saying there's a lot of people, unfortunately, from my perspective, who are spiritually sick. Do you know what I mean? They're just not well inside.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you know, you can have all the things out. A lot of people are using the outside world for that instant gratification. Do you know what I mean? Or whatever that is, just to fill the void.
Yeah.
Fill them holes, you know what I mean? And then in the end, you know, nothing really fulfills you, does it? So
And
when
that's
we
why
sit, we
you
turn the
jump
gaze
from-
back in
from
ourselves.
one thing to the next.
That's
Do
right.
you know what I mean?
It's like
to find that satisfaction.
In
We never get it.
materialism, in material
Materialistic, yeah.
things, in cars. Listen, I've had it. I've had fast cars, and I felt exactly the way I felt after having the car for 2 weeks as I felt about the car before.
Yeah.
Materialistic things
Yeah,
mean
I know.
absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
But the society today leads us to believe these things.
That's
Yeah.
it.
You know what I mean? Like, nothing against people. Like, I had the radio on the way to work this morning for like 20 seconds, and the stuff that comes out that they feed you with.
Yeah.
Like, Zayn Malik, he's a singer, isn't he? He's having such a good time with his wife or something.
Yeah.
Like, why are you telling? Like,
Yeah, I don't know.
must
Why do we
listen
need to know
to
that?
going
these
on here?
things?
You know what I mean?
Do you know what I mean? This needs to be more.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
People
know.
need to hear more of this.
Yeah.
How to
Yeah.
find to
Inner,
find who
inner
you are.
peace, isn't it?
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I think, you know, inevitably society is pumping out subliminally, you know, through advertising, the message of you're not good enough.
That's
Do
it.
you know what I mean? You know, your watch isn't good enough, buy a new watch. Your car isn't fast enough, go and buy a new car. You know,
Yeah.
you don't smell good enough, come and buy this perfume. You don't look good enough, come and buy this clobber. And it's very much, you know, in the background, like disempowering us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then we disempower ourselves, you know,
Yeah.
so
We disempower our king.
yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Because all what's on the telly now is reality TV shows of people who live these luxury lifestyles.
Yeah.
So you're watching that coming from a humble home.
Yeah.
You know, you're not rich, and then it's putting you down.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And talking about wealth, you know, we talk about many levels of wealth on the retreat, don't we?
Many
You know,
levels.
Of course, according to you know, a great teacher we aspire to learn from is Dr. John D. Martini.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about wealth, we talk about abundance, and we could talk about many levels. The 7 levels that we work with on the King Day is looking at our own level of wealth and doing a kind of mental inventory. You know, some of us may have a lot of spiritual wealth in the context of, you know, maybe we have a sense of purpose, or we feel kind in the world, we feel loving in the world, we have a sense that there's something bigger than us, we feel connected to a higher purpose. And the next level of wealth would be mental wealth. You know, we may not have a lot of money, but we have a mental wealth.
Yeah.
We've read a lot of books, we have a fascination for learning and making sense of things, and maybe we have a calmness to ourselves, and we can have a kind of regulation of our emotions, so we have a healthy mind. And the next level is vocation. Some of us may have a feeling of, do you know what, fuck, I'm doing something that I'm meant to do. I feel really healthy from a place of service. And then the next level is around our finances. Finance is a level of wealth, which is important for some of us. The next level is around our family and our connection to some kind of family, biological family, friends and family, a wider family. But there might be a sense that, you know what, I've fucking got a lot of friends and family, I'm connected. And the next level down is social, you know, our social connections. And the final one is physical wealth, you know, kind of connection with our body, the wealth of our physical body and how it moves and how it breathes and our health status. So wealth comes on many levels.
Yeah,
but
definitely.
we're taught that it comes on only
On one level.
One level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel, you know, and that's certainly, when we're being educated on what wealth really is, and then we can apply it, you know, we feel rich from the inside out, don't we? You know, talking on your journey, you know, maybe rewinding back to where you were in November.
Yeah.
You know, and then, you know, reaching out, doing a little bit of coaching with myself, just like your level of being now is it's completely different.
Yeah, it's completely changed. I think you come in with a preconditioned idea of what wealth is. I think you're conditioned by society, despite probably knowing what wealth is. I've always been aware that abundance falls out into many factors.
Yeah.
You know, like Craig has just outlined. However, you find yourself on a one-track path of searching for ultimate financial wealth. Now, I don't have any social media or Instagram or anything like that, but from what I've seen of it and what I know of it, it's directed for financial wealth. A lot of it is, well, you need to have this handbag or these shoes or this holiday or whatever it may well be, which directly puts you down in society a financial wealth path, and all you get up each morning for is for financial wealth, as opposed to mental health or physical wealth or family health wealth. So all of that, which is equally, if not more important than the cash in the bank, or the car, or the material items, which are ill important and they can actually come and go and you'll still be the same person you are irrespective of them, is somewhat what you learn is somewhat immaterial to what wealth and abundance is. So to just discover that over the retreat plus the work we've been doing is, or realign yourself with it, is phenomenal. Completely and utterly phenomenal to like see what society's doing to you as to what you should be doing with society. So you've actually opened your eyes for the first time in the last, it must be 20, 30, 40 years. I've now just opened my eyes because of the retreat, because of the work we've been doing. I'm now aware. I'm now present. You know, similar to what you were saying about with the phone, I've started setting healthy boundaries. My phone rings a lot. It goes a lot. People want it. Unfortunately, we live in a world where they expect instant gratification. But once, as you just said, once, like, say 7 o'clock on a Friday comes, well, nothing can be done till 9 o'clock on Monday morning.
There you go.
So there's no urgent need for you to have to fulfill that. There's somebody else's desire for them to want to fulfill. Oh, okay, well, I'll deal with that Monday. Well, you can deal with it Monday irrespective. You don't need
because
to...
not every call needs to be answered as well.
No.
Not everyone.
I think, but a lot of us are fearful, though, that, like, that you're going to miss something.
Of
You know
course.
what I mean? Like, if myself personally, I always just expect bad news out of my phone. I think we're going to get some bad news, So, and I think with being in that retreat, you didn't need no money. Obviously, we had to, but I mean, you weren't thinking about money. You weren't thinking about the watch on your wrist. You know what I mean? You weren't thinking about, oh, I'm going here and I'm going there. There was nothing. And there was just total presence in it. In the retreat.
It's sometimes easier to think about those external things instead of thinking about ourselves.
There's so many benefits and positives, and I wouldn't even say there was any negatives out of it. There's some mad stuff going on, but there's so many benefits and positives to take out of that.
You know, I think what Kev was talking about there as well, and you know, just to reference a great teacher, Craig will know, his name's Ken Wilber, and you know, Kev was very much talking about an awakening there, just the capacity to actually maybe wake up from the dream or the narrative, you know, and the belief system that you've, you know, been programmed to project into the world. And also an element of certainly the work Craig and I hold space for is an element of growing up. You know what I mean? Where you're aware of your faults, you're aware of, you know, aspects of the psyche, and then you're able to take a good look, review it, contemplate it, understand it, and then grow from it. You know what I mean? So this element of waking up, growing up, and then when you sort of fuse them two faculties together, inevitably you show up, don't you? You're showing up in the world.
It's losing the ego.
There's levels
as
of
well.
integrity. There's levels of presence, and it's powerful stuff.
But I think also what's happened with society is it's become quite toxic, and I don't mean that from a nasty point of view. It's we're inbuilt to a bit of drinking. Drink might lead to, you know, drugs or further things, and as men or even women within this world, there's levels of toxic that's coming into your life, and that could be through your phone, through your laptop, through your drink, through
the ripple
drugs,
effect,
through arguments, however it is, and that builds up a armour around your body, and you don't get to release that. So once you release the drink, potentially the drugs, and you know, the digital side of the thing, your phone, your laptop, and the arguments and the confrontation, you can then reduce your body into the state where it actually was born and where you began life.
Naturalness.
Later naturalness.
Feel more into yourself.
That's it.
Just one thing to say at this stage. You know, we often hear the word healing we're on this healing journey, and it's only at the end of the day semantics, and it's only a word, but just one thing that we stipulate on the retreat, like from day one, is that the retreat isn't aimed at healing us. Our patterns are hardwired. They have an effect on our physical bodies, and the hardwiring is as it is. We can't change the past. But what we can do is learn a new language.
Yeah.
We can learn a new language of living. When we were younger, we couldn't. It was given to us. But so for me, the retreat is a catalyst to kind of really learn a new language and get excited about learning a new language of living, of relating, of communicating, for example. So for me, on my journey, it's about learning a new language of living, not healing myself.
Yeah. And I know this retreat was actually, a big one for you, as they all are, but there was some really nice pockets of insight for you on this time around, Craig, wasn't there, moving forward?
For sure.
Do you want to share that?
For me, it was mostly around, and I come back to the word feeling, because I hadn't done the depth of that retreat for a while. My mind was going crazy with, well, my purpose is not as clear as it was. What's my purpose? What's my vision? And sometimes I can go crazy. But yet on the retreat, there was such a grounded into my body again with all the practices that we do. I felt, I get it. It's like, I get it. This is part of my purpose. Part of my purpose is the work I'm doing here with Men Without Masks. Still part of my purpose is bringing some of the work into professional rugby, because that's also part of my journey. But more than anything, I just really believe that part of my journey of purpose on this earth is helping just normal blokes like us in this part of the UK to just soften and open and express and realise how good we are. And so it was a feeling, Martin. It was a feeling. It wasn't a thought. My body was saying, mate, I know sometimes you don't want to do this retreat. I know sometimes your mind says, do you really have to do it? But you have to do it. So that was big for me.
Lovely moments of silence there, and just feeling into just how inspired I am again, just to have you guys here, and it was a great retreat, because there was a lot of guys from Liverpool on this one, wasn't there?
Yeah, there was.
There was not just ourselves. There was my brother Jordan, there was Paul, there was Greg, there was a good lad from Southport, Ian, and then a few other wonderful chaps, lads from Wigan.
There was, and Simon,
and Roger, and there's. I feel like the work is spreading now. You know what I mean? It's the likes of ourselves who, we've got our own circles, we've got our own, communities and people around us, and they can't deny how you're feeling. They can't deny the level of presence and the authenticity and the energy that you're holding, and people will be like, what have you been up to?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? What have you been up to? And you just look great, and wow, I can feel your energy. Yeah. You're incredibly grounded, and what have you been up to? And I think now there's not necessarily a fear around, well, I've just been on a men's retreat. Do you know what I mean? Where maybe even a year ago, a couple of years ago, lads from Liverpool, what, a men's retreat? Do you know what I mean?
When people hear the word retreat and think you're on a 5-day holiday.
Yeah.
It's a 5-day break from society.
Yeah.
But it's a 5-day self-development, work on yourself, work with a group of absolute legends.
Yeah.
And realise and find yourself. Because that word retreat, that's what people think, oh, what, been on holiday?
Yeah.
Let me just sit you down for 10 minutes, mate, and tell you.
Good point.
It's intense.
Honestly.
It's like a men's immersion, isn't it? A men's intensive, a men's...
You work hard. You work physically and mentally hard.
You touch on every emotion possible, mate.
Training, isn't it?
You do, yeah. You sleep like a baby when you get in that bed of a night.
Yeah, because you've let it go, so much throughout the day, and you put your head on that pillow and you're like...
Yeah.
You're flat out, you know what I mean?
Your mind's just constantly working. You're working hard.
Yeah.
But it was powerful, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was really powerful.
Yeah. How's it been for you, Kev, just coming home and integrating back into your life?
Yeah, integration's been interesting. I spoke with you, so it's strange, and thanks for sort of preparing us for integration, Craig, because integration for me come with a bang. You know, walk through the front door, my youngest was sick everywhere, and you know, if there isn't an integration like that where you've been away for 5 days with lads, and it's right, welcome back to the real world, be prepared to roll your sleeves up and put your practice into theory, or put the theory into practice. So immediately you're putting the theory into practice. You know, you're back into work and you're back into your routine, and it's about applying the disciplines within that. And you know, it's difficult. I've had to check myself at times and say, no, you're being rude, or you're not present, or there's things that you're not doing that you know full well now that is actually it's right. You need to be doing it this way. So I've set boundaries surrounding my phone. Like you know, my routine looks a bit different with what's going on with COVID, but I never used to be at home to see the children. Now that's probably one of the most sacred times of the morning for me now, and I make sure that the phone's left, like either by the front door or somewhere where I can't see it. It can't interfere with that half hour with the kids. And it may be a bit stressful, they're going out to school and all the rest of it, but it's not interfered with. You've got that moment of presence, them 30 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever it is, you've got those moments of presence with the children. So coming back, that's what's really sort of like filled me with joy to think, well, actually I'm spending the first time in their lives, probably I'm spending time with them.
And that's enormous, isn't it? Over a period of time, you know, you talk about, 15, 30 minutes of a morning, that's 15 hours a month. You know what I mean? And then, that's collectively like 150 hours, 200 hours a year, and, over 2, 3, 4 years of time, there's just that element where you just with your kids of a morning. There's just a level of love and presence and playfulness. Obviously, you got two young girls there, and they both of them are your apple of your eyes, mate. And
I think what's important as well, and what's resonated with me is mornings are the best time for me. I get up early and I'm full of energy. Of an evening, I still spend that time, I still spend that present time with your kids, but you're not as full of energy and you're not as...
Battery's low, and
you're not as joyful. You can sit down and read the story with them and enjoy that time, but of a morning, you've got that real energy to be able to connect with your children. Children love energy. Children thrive on energy, so to be able to give your children your energy of a morning... And it sounds weird saying this, and a lot of people may not resonate with it, but you're giving someone your energy by looking at them, by being able to share with them.
That's it.
It's
Don't
energy.
want anything else.
That's all they
They
want.
just want your presence.
And
I've noticed it so much more now. Like, you can buy the kids, and they don't want all that. They just want you. And you only. And your time. Because there's been times before retreat, I would be looking at my phone and he'd be like, Dad, put your phone down, put your phone down, put your phone. Just play with me. Just play with me. It melts me out when I hear him saying that, you know what I mean? Just play with me, and then that makes me realise, but it shouldn't take that. You know what I mean? It shouldn't take that for me to understand that. That's why the retreat's so
I think
powerful.
what the funny thing is as well, we demand presence of others as well. When someone's not present with us, and you're like, now what's happening here? And and so it's a two-way stream, isn't it? You know what I mean? And inevitably that brings us to a core foundation, which for me is authentic connection. We're just really starving for that authentic connection, aren't we? And when we get it, we seem to just light up. Our world, there's a level of radiance there. You talk about that naturalness that we feel into. We feel into that nature within us, and there's a constant vibration which is unconditional, which is fully empowering, which is forever lasting, and it just moves through us. And I think what takes us away from that dynamic of naturalness is like the phones, or is that level of attention, that that level of concentration, which can be weak, and constantly being disturbed by the world, in all its glitz and glamour, or its pain or despair. You know what I mean?
It's interesting, Kev, speaking about his mornings and how they've changed. We've all heard of the ultimate morning, and there's a lot written about it in self-development books. And the ultimate morning traditionally could be something that gets us out of our comfort zone and might involve some exercise or meditation or cold immersion, and that might serve some of us. But that's also an ultimate morning.
Of course.
That is more
for me,
powerful for Kev than anything. So with presence, you've found your ultimate morning.
Correct, 100%. And that's just another piece in the ultimate morning. I think you guys know I'm up early. I do my training, I do a bit of meditation, I'll have supplements, healthy drinks, cold water, all the rest of it, and that adds a further layer into it, and it's so powerful. And I know we've used that word a lot today, but that level of connection is so powerful. I've even found myself apologising to people for not being present. I'm sorry, I'm not present. Can we start again? I'll come back to it, and I will be present, and I will pay attention. And you see them looking at you in a completely different way. They either think, what the fuck are you going on?
Where's Kev gone? He's eating mushrooms.
Or they actually respect you for it. And I think it's more likely the latter. Because you're connecting with them. And they understand, right, actually, 2 minutes ago, he didn't really care what I was saying, and it was going over his head, and he didn't give me the time I've asked for here. I wasn't getting anything back from him, but to turn around to somebody and say, listen, I'm awfully sorry, I haven't been present. Even my children, I've said it to Olive. I said, Olive, I'm awfully sorry, I'm not there. We'll start again, and I'll be here for you now.
And that's you owning it then.
I've been doing a bit of that myself.
Well, that's big.
Clear communication, isn't it?
I just think it's mad now, not just because, it's more so because I'm diving into this, but why we wouldn't train our minds, why we just just live in autopilot and just literally go with the motions. We train our body, why you need to be training your mind.
And that for me is that faculty of meditation, you know what I mean, and just having that, simple daily practice of present moment awareness, using some simple mindful techniques, some simple objectives where you can just tune in. You know what I mean? We naturally tune out. We tune out, we habituate. You know what I mean? We go into them memorized patterns, and the capacity to actually just tune in. And a great question, for anyone even listening today, and for us gentlemen in the room, is what are you noticing? What do you notice in these moments that you find yourself in, and what are you noticing about yourself and how you're projecting your stuff onto the world? And then to take ownership over it, to take responsibility for it, to hold your hand up. It takes a bit of courage,
of course.
You know what I mean?
Owning it.
And then you're just aligning yourself back into your best self. And having the capacity to actually communicate that and say, excuse me, sorry, I wasn't present right there. Or actually, I can't be present with you right now because I'm being present with something else. But I'll come back to you in 10 minutes and then we'll have a conversation. Stuff like that. It's just clean communication.
Can I ask the guys, you mentioned meditation. I'm presuming that we all did a bit of meditation before we came into the retreat, but when you were on retreat and you felt safe and you could let go, how were your meditations? Because we did a lot of meditations,
It was next level for me. I've meditated for a while, and sometimes my thoughts drift, and I have to get up. But on the retreat, it was next level meditation, mate. The relaxation, the calmness. Just knowing that 14 other men in the room are in the same position, relaxed, not in the thoughts, and just being centred. For me, it was next level. And I've carried it on every day, going back to the phone. I'll do my practice, read a couple of pages of a good book before I even look at the phone.
You've got a nice little meditation app there as well, haven't you? What's that one called?
Oh, the Scouse Guru one. Top of the range, mate. Worth every penny.
I was a few, Jod.
I've nailed my meditations. I think body stillness is everything in that. And I think being there and being fully present and not having any distractions and being able to hold longer meditations, and I think having that 5 days there has just moulded it into me. I think I'm so much more present with my meditation as well. As funny as it sounds, if I'm in it, I can find a lot more stillness, and I'm not going to say that thoughts don't come and go, because they do, but I can anchor in a lot better, and I'm a lot more still, because I felt I've been so relaxed since I've come home, and I can just sit still. I found it a lot easier to sit in my own space. most definitely practices have improved.
Yeah.
I've lengthened them.
Yeah.
I've just I hit a sweet spot in that retreat. In some meditations there, and I was searching for, you know, when I say I was sort of searching for something, I didn't really know what it was. That I think I found it there. That you know, I know why. I know why we do this.
It's such a powerful thing to actually just sit and be, isn't it? You know,
certainly is.
we when I suppose the mind gets a little bit bored as such, you know, it starts reaching for the phone, or it fills the gaps of stillness with shit.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And you know, when we can actually just sit and be and relax into ourselves, free from any fear of where we think we should be or what we should be doing, you know, there's a lot of magic in non-doing, isn't there? Do you know what I mean? You know that,
and the silence as well, mate. Just being silent. Yeah, it's lovely.
Yeah,
it needs to be.
It's a great teacher. Silence is our greatest teacher.
Taking
you know,
full control, mate.
Yeah,
the candle gazing was the best for me. I
nice the candle gazing, wasn't it?
I just loved that. You know,
there's some big moments with the meditation, didn't you?
Yeah.
You know, there was a day on the Magician Day where it was like. After that yoga session we did.
That was on.
Was that the yin one? No?
That was the yin. Yeah, we did the yin, and then it guided you into a nice practice, and that
nice,
you were
lovely. That was nice.
Yeah.
And the beautiful thing is that you taste the fruit yourself, so it's a direct experience. It's a knowing, and once you taste the fruit, you can't deny it, can you?
Yeah.
So you know that that's available to you.
You can always go back.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
How
was it for you?
Yeah, I struggle with meditation at times because of I need to disengage my mind before I meditate, because I'm always looking at, you know, a couple of steps down. So to get that stillness, it was really, really, like, as you say, it was fruitful. You know, you're getting a full a complete sense of stillness, and it probably took a couple of days towards the end of the retreat for me personally to get a bit more stillness and become a bit more comfortable with meditation. I've had some good meditations with yourself in the past, but I think on retreat as well, my mind was like, oh, what's coming next? Oh, where are we going next? The excitement was kicking in at times, so there was elements of, oh, wait, you know, what can we do next, and where are we, and we're going outside, and like you sort of inner child's playing out, sort of trying to take you somewhere you haven't been before, but once you brought yourself back, it was excellent, and I think it leads into your day as well. If you do get chance, and it doesn't work for everybody every day to be able to meditate every single day, but if you do get chance, what I find it does for me is it structures my day. So if I meditate at 5 a.m, whatever time it is, I'm up and available, whatever time that may well be. Like yourself, Jordan, you're up and out early. If you can get that meditation in before you leave the front door, I feel it, like it brings you softer into the day.
Like, I think it's going to like intentional suffering. My intentional suffering is it's just become a habit for me now. So like every morning, I like, without fail now, it's just a part of what I do. I will get up, I'll have a drink of water, and I'll do me practice in silence. Even I'll just sit. Now it's going a bit longer, but I struggled. There was a time where I would look to snooze. I've never really been one for the snoozing, but I'd always just set it 15 minutes later. You know, with the willpower, with having that warrior energy, I was able then to be able to for stay a month straight, just get out of bed, get it done. Now, I wake up in the morning, I do me bit of practice, I do me shower in the back garden, and I'm in the room, you know what I mean? If my kids were up early, it'd be great, but it's 4 o'clock in the morning, so they're not going to be. No, do you know what I mean? But I'm in that, wherever I go, you're getting the full me. You know what I mean? But it takes some intentional suffering to be able to do that.
It's not easy to get up out of bed, is it? You know what I mean? You know, especially when the weather's changing now, it's getting dark outside, and you know it takes an element of will. It takes you know to you know what, especially if you've got a high value in some self development. You know what I mean? In like your mental fitness and your physical fitness. You know, we're naturally dehydrated of a morning. You know, and then getting maybe into that cold water therapy. It's, you know, there's an element of you've got to draw upon a little bit of like. It does show, you know, you suffer a little bit more, right?
When I stand behind that door, mate, I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing? You know what I mean? And getting naked in the back garden, making sure there's no neighbours watching. You know what I mean?
It's powerful.
I think I've always been an early bird. Even before I used to dive into the practice, I've always been up at like 5 in the morning and, I just sit round watching shite, basically. And now it's like, you're up with a purpose, mate. That practice just sets me up for the day. After I've done my practice, I'm on my clients, then I'm, what is workout today? I never used to do that. I'd go in the gym and just wing it with my clients. And now I'm just bump, I'm on the ball, mate, everything's ready.
The
good to go. My whole
productivity's
day
next level,
is
isn't
just
it?
bang, bang, bang. There's no mess ups. You know, you find you roll out the bed 7:30, there's your day started off bad, mate, and that's it for the rest of the day. You're playing catch up.
The key is working it with purpose, like you just said.
That's it.
I often, for years, have had a practice similar to kind of what Jordan was speaking about. But this morning, for example, I woke up and my girlfriend was in my arms. And we just stared at that for 15 minutes, and that was my morning. But it was like, this is fucking important. There was a purpose to it, you know.
The purpose, that's it.
I think
it wasn't wasting time.
And also what I've found, like talking about clients, if I have clients missing the morning, then I get a message from them saying I'm gutted, I have slept in, I'm fuming with myself, and then that's their day set up on a set up for a bit of a failure.
They're playing catch up for the rest of the day.
They're not happy with you. They're not in the.
I mean, the ultimate morning is very much just about getting off on the right foot, isn't it? Creating momentum, and
that is for you.
Yeah, exactly. And then being the best self each day. You know, we've only really got today, haven't we? You know what I mean? You know, there's that concept of tomorrow doesn't exist and tomorrow never arrives, because we've only got our days. And sometimes people are waiting for, you know, why are you waiting till Friday 4 or 5 o'clock to get that Friday buzz? You know what I mean? And then there's, you know, a lot of people are on that hamster wheel where the, you know, the weekend warriors, then like they feel like, you know, come Monday morning, oh, it's like I fucking hate Monday, and it's like, any day of the week can be an amazing day. It's just all about attitude. You know, it's all about, you know, obviously creating some rituals and some healthy habits, you know, which can really anchor, you know, a level of being which is of a high vibration, isn't it? I mean, you know, you're world class on a daily basis, aren't you? You know what I mean?
I think also if you're happy in yourself, you'll be happy in what you do. So some people will turn up to work and say, or wherever it may well be, could be work, it could be with a group of friends, and you'll say, how's things for you? You go, it's shit. I now don't know what to say. I go, oh right, really? Because I don't want to say it's great for me.
But why? Why shouldn't you?
No, of course, because you don't want to make them feel any worse about themselves than they are. But you're right in what you're saying at times. You'll say, well, it's all right for me at the moment.
See, for me, Kev,
sorry to say.
Well, I've had a couple of clients who've come in and gone, I haven't slept, or I'm not in the mood today, and I'll find the 5 minutes now to go, okay, well, tell me why. Why? So you haven't slept last night? Why? What have you read before you've gone to bed? Is there something you've read? Did something go wrong yesterday? Fix it. You know what I mean? A lot of people, and I put this up on Instagram today, they sacrifice the present with the future. Thinking about the future.
Of course.
That's why everyone's anxious.
That's it. People are just filled with anxiety because of it. Just live for that moment. I've done it all my life.
Martin gave me a great gift once, and he said, use the beginner's mind. And I looked at him and said, what is the beginner's mind, Martin? And he said, treat every day as if it's the beginning. So when you wake up, what's happened the previous day, albeit there might be resonances of it to come through, but if you've got a beginner's mind and you're ready for that day with a smile on your face and naturally happy, not
like a kid is,
smile.
that's exactly how
like
a kid is.
Not a kid in the
They've
world.
got that beginner's mind. They've kind of forgot about whatever's happened the day before. It's gone.
Even the hour prior is gone.
A lot of people bring that past. They bring the past into the present. You know what I mean? And no wonder you feel heavy.
That's all I've done for years. And I, honest to God, I mean, I mentioned about me getting shot. I thought about that every single day for 4 years. I might as well have got shot every single day for 4 years.
Wow,
I went on that retreat, and since then, it hasn't crossed my mind until we've come in here.
You spoke about it.
I don't give two shits about it, mate. It's happened, you know, and it's done. And people carry the past with them, and they ruin the present.
And they get heavy. You know what I mean? That's, you know, and a part of the work of, you know, not just understanding the beginner's mind or having an ultimate morning or doing, you know, some of the stuff we've been doing, it just allows you to like let go, doesn't it? You know what I mean? Part of that work is letting go of the emotional past, you know, being in the present. I mean, we look anywhere else apart from the present moment. It's because it's timeless.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The present moment is now, it's timeless.
Yeah.
You know, and we like to know where we're going, and we like to know where we've been, and we literally go from past and future all day, every day. You know, and sort of coming back to that comment that Kev was making before, and it's probably a collective narrative that a lot of people say. You'll say, how are you getting on? And people are like, shit in it. Shit in it. And you're like, what's so shit in it? You know, people don't even know why it's shit for them, do you know what I mean? Or they're just repeating somebody else's mantra, shit in it. It's like, and there's a lot of people saying that, and it's maybe because of what Craig was mentioning before, a lack of direction. A lack of purpose. Do you know what I mean? So, you know, we have to obviously be compassionate towards people. You know, we're all sitting here now, we've been on retreat, we're all diving into ourselves, and we're advertising and demonstrating to the world what this work means, not just to us, but what it means to our inner circles and the people around us. But, you know, we have to have that compassion for people who haven't got purpose, you know, who haven't got no mission, who don't know who they are, you know, and they're spiritually unwell, and their psychology is just overriding them into a place of dis-ease, disempowerment, and so, you know, it is now up to us to go out there, and not necessarily like, all we've got to do is be ourselves, actually. You know what I mean? You know, we don't have to go out there and, you know, parade what this is all about. It's just like, actually, you be yourself. You rest in that authentic space. And you're naturally gonna, you know, the cream rises to the top. You're in that king energy, aren't you? You know what I mean? And you're holding space naturally.
Well, I'll go back to what you said about, like, it's not just, we work on ourselves, but our immediate family, they reap the rewards from what we do. Everyone, since I've come back from the retreat, I've noticed they're seeing it, even the calmness in my voice. You know, I'm a loudmouth. I'm always fucking dead loud. Speak like I'm deaf, basically. I'm screaming. It's gone. I'm just like, you know, and everyone else is benefiting as well, not just me. You know what I mean? So, you know, everyone can benefit.
When the king is healthy, the kingdom becomes healthy. You know, and as what Kev was saying, but it's as within and so without. You know what I mean? So. It's when we do actually turn the gaze back on ourselves and do some inner work, you know, and it doesn't necessarily mean you'd have to dive into this stuff, you know, head first. Just some simple inner work, you know. It might be having a simple morning routine, reading maybe some, you know, books around, you know, self-help, self-improvement, you know, going to an edge. Surrounding yourself with people, having a little detox. A little detox might mean just having 5 minutes off the phone or going for a walk around the park. Doesn't necessarily have to mean a 5-day retreat, all that kind of stuff. You know, I think what's important is for anyone listening to this today and tuning in, just start slow. Start small, baby steps, you know what I mean? And as these baby steps over a period of time, you know, we learn a new language and we step into a new way of being. And some of it's radical and some of it's gradual. And you embrace all of it as it comes. So I think we're coming towards the end of the conversation here, and, you know, just feeling so grateful, you know, for talking about all these matters related. Obviously, it is a post retreat interview, and we're doing this. Our intent is to reach out to a wider audience and talk about, you know, the importance of, you know, what we're doing with Men Without Masks, you know, what we're doing at Whaley Hall, and what plans we have for the future. We've got some really great stuff coming up, haven't we? You know, we're going to expand, aren't we? We're expanding with some you know, some new retreats next year, some more men, and bringing people on board, and it's organically growing, isn't it? So I think it's time for a check out, men. We'll check out, and then that's it. I think it's home to our families, isn't it?
Yep. Going out. I'm checking out with Jesus. That fucking time went fast, didn't it? I'm checking out feeling like I could talk with you guys for hours, without any drugs. I could just fucking talk with you for hours. The stuff being expressed, and it's really. I'm checking out with gratitude. Checking out, just letting people know that we have got a retreat in December, and we've got a retreat coming up in February, and then we'll unleash the rest of our dates soon. And if you want to check out the information about the retreats, go to menwithoutmasks.com. Checking out with gratitude.
Aho. Anthony?
I'm checking out feeling like I've just had a big reboot again. Sitting, speaking with the lads, you know, they're comfortable, how comfortable I feel. You know what I mean? I'm so happy. And again, the retreat, the best thing for me I've probably ever done. Also, like I said, I'd love to help in any way possible on future retreats, any way possible. Checking out, full of gratitude. Thank you.
Oh.
I love these check-in and check-out. Because I'd always think what I was going to say, but then I stopped doing that and I'd just wait until it come on and I'd just say whatever come to me tongue. Now I'm checking out to relaxed again, and like you've just said there, where's the time gone? You know what I mean? Time just flies, doesn't it? It does feel like you're in a party, you know, when you're a bit younger than that. But yeah, no, I'm just checking out again. Grateful for the retreat and for both of you, for Martin for bending me on it, and Craig for showing us. And like I said last time, you know, just keep doing it. And whenever that little thing tells you not to do it, just follow your gut and that, your intuition. Just keep doing it. And for anyone that's listening, who were on the fence, just go for it. Just, you know what I mean? Just man up, because it's beneficial. It's in so many ways, like you wouldn't believe. You've got so much to find out about yourself, and Men Without Masks can help that in a big way, and price doesn't compare to what you get from the retreat. So I'm just checking out with gratitude and excitement for my future, because I've got a lot of things going on myself, and I think with Men Without Masks it's going to help me nail them on, you know, and just, you know, help me focus, laser beam me focus to where I want to be in my own life. So I'm out.
I'm checking out with an immense sense of understanding of what the retreat means and what today's meant. And if this can touch other men the way it's touched us, I will actually be happy, because I know the ability of Martin, Craig and Dave to be able to deliver such a succinct retreat, and how little it will change you will be massive in your life. So I just hope that more people get the fulfillment and the joy that I and my fellow kings have experienced on retreat. So I'm out.
Yeah, just checking out with a deeper sense of achievement, you know, from my own personal journey with this work, Men Without Masks, and you know, the meditation and all of the things I've been diving into over the last few years, and just a sense of family, you know, for me, or that authentic connection and coming closer to men like yourselves. You know, we've shared something special, haven't we? And it'll hold. It will hold forever. You know what I mean? When you spend that time together that we did, it's and for me it was extra special just spending that time with Scousers. You know, it was really special. So checking out with a sense of achievements, checking out with a sense of appreciation, and yeah, just a sense of family and a sense of love for, and that goes for all the other men who's ever been on retreat with us in the past, you know, them past retreats, and we're all so excited to meet, you know, men we haven't met yet. You know, we're excited to meet you. We're excited to get you on retreat. We're excited to share this work, because this work matters to us. This work matters to all of us in the room, and we feel as if moving forward, you know, having that capacity to hold space, to create space for men to, you know, express themselves, to share, and to grow into themselves is super powerful. So checking out Creating Space. This is episode 13. And yeah, looking forward to getting behind the mic and transmitting some more powerful conversations. So men, have a great evening. I'll be seeing you all again soon. I'm out. Creating Space is sponsored by the Scouse Guru app, an all-purpose meditation app that feeds into all your needs, developing peace of mind, increasing mental focus, lowering stress levels, while discovering inner stillness, awakening your potential and educating you on all matters related to human behaviour and personal development. Download the app for free on the App Store or get it on Google Play today.